Personally, I struggled with 48s, consecutive 48s quite a bit. And there was a lot of little finicky sort of things that I needed to play with in order to make them work. So I had a few issues that I felt were specific to me, but I think a lot of you might get a lot out of this because there might be common issues. The first key to success was one of the most important. At the start, I was eating on as minimal as possible. I think I was doing about 44 hours with a 4-hour eating window, or maybe even less, the 3-hour eating window, and I just simply couldn't get in enough food. So this mainly is for people who aren't trying to lose weight and are specifically trying to heal. I'm never really fasting to lose weight. It's always for healing. That's what this channel is about. And the thing with that is if you're doing consecutive fasts, especially if you're lean, I just keep losing weight, and it gets to a point where the fast gets so difficult because I'm just so hungry. And that seems to be towards when the body fat gets incredibly low. So it's really important during the feeding window to get in enough food, and I just couldn't get in enough food during these small 3 or 4 hour eating windows. So open up the eating window to as long as needed. So for me, I'm currently experimenting with 8 hours and possibly even more. So eating, maybe every 2, 3, 4 hours on an 8-hour eating window. So you're doing consecutive 40-hour fast technically. Could even open it up more. I was thinking of doing a 36 hours and then instead of 12-hour window, but I don't think this is necessary. I think 8 hours is enough. If I get enough food in, then I can just keep doing the 48s for as long as needed. The second key to success is eat mostly meat and eat the meat first. So what I was finding is if I eat the meat first and eat as much as I physically can eat in each meal of the meat until I'm, because meat, I can't really, overeat it. It gets to a point where my body just won't take anymore. So it's so important because it's the most satiating thing, especially fatty red meat. So just eat as much as you can at each meal and then eat everything else. Another reason for this is that the meat is a lot more healing in terms of it's just not inflammatory, and most people don't really have a reaction to fatty red meat. I get a lot of problems with every food basically, except meat is one of the only things I don't react to unless I eat only meat for 1 to 2 weeks, and then there's a lot of issues caused. So it makes sense that the majority of the food we should be eating to heal is fatty red meat. So just fill up as much as possible with that. And if you want to eat for me, I'm avoiding ketosis at the moment because I have a lot of issues with it. So if you're wanting to avoid ketosis, then eat the meat first, and then maybe eat fruit, vegetables, or if you have issues with fiber, you could try some other things. There are certain elemental supplements that I have tried in the past which remove fiber, and you're just eating things like small amount of honey, bit of collagen powder or protein powder, and some fats, things like that. So that'll allow you to fill up, but you won't be getting the fiber. Things like white rice, maybe if you handle it, that's there's not a lot of fiber in white rice, and you'll still be getting the carbs as well. So the third key to success is to do with sleep. So take some electrolytes on the day that the fasting day. So the way I was having a lot of trouble at the end of the fasting day to fall asleep. I had issues with the heart beating a bit harder, and I think when you fast, at that point I had fasted for about anywhere from 24 upwards hours, and I just I just always have trouble falling asleep. So what I experimented with was the electrolytes. Right before I sleep, I just take half a teaspoon of they call it light salt here in Australia. It's essentially just 50% potassium, 50% sodium, but what that equates to is a quarter of a teaspoon of sodium, a quarter of a teaspoon of potassium, and I take half a pill of magnesium citrate, I think it is. So I think that's about 150 milligrams of magnesium. So if I take that, I seem to fall asleep straight away every time that I take it. So that was a godsend, because that was one of the biggest things I struggled with, was that it affected my sleep. And I tend to sleep for a while after that as well. I get a good, I think 6 to 7 hours, which is pretty good for me. So give that a go. Also, the electrolytes will help on your fasting day. I don't really take them on the fasting day because I've eaten so much the day before that I still get energy. The issue for me is the day that I'm about to break the fast. So I wake up that morning and I have a little bit of a lack of energy. So I take the electrolytes again, just without the magnesium in the morning, that morning. The fourth key to success in healing on 48s is don't eat any foods that you react to. For some people, this may be incredibly hard. For me, it is very hard. At the moment, I can only really eat meat, fatty meat, and sweet potato. No idea why. Every other carb seems to screw me up badly. Any sugar, fruit, all that, but sweet potato seems okay. And also, I've been eating some salmon, and sometimes greens are okay. So green leaves and all that sort of thing with olive oil. But it's an up and down, that one. It's sort of a bit of Russian roulette with the greens. But yeah, it's essential, because for whatever reason, as soon as I eat something that I react to, it seems to reset the healing. So all the skin comes back fully and get all the issues again. Inflammation just seems to hold up healing. So healing on these 48s, it's essential to avoid anything that you react to during your refeed. Generally, that's another reason why eating mostly meat will be helpful. There's each meal, if you're eating, say, on an 8-hour window, eating every 2 hours or 3 hours or whatever, the first part of the meal, eat as much meat as you can until you're full, and then eat everything else that you want to eat. Try make it whole foods, and make it foods that you don't react to, and you should get healing pretty fast of the gut and the skin and everything. So the fifth key, be patient. This is something I've struggled with. I've always felt that healing should be a sort of an upwards trend, a consistent, you see a consistent healing progress across time, but it just doesn't seem to be the way that it does it. Flare-ups can actually be a good thing. Sometimes I have a flare-up and then things get better after the flare-up. It's just during it I went a bit crazy trying to figure out what the hell happened this time, and I didn't really do anything different. Who knows what it is? Something dying, something happening inside. Who knows? But the key is to be patient. I think healing in this way, using nature to heal, which is eating the correct foods and fasting in this way, I think does take some time, and yeah, it's very important to be patient and just look out for your physical biomarkers, maybe sometimes more than the skin. I mean, if you're feeling good and your sleep's good and you feel comfortable and relaxed and you're not getting any physical reactions, but the skin may have flared up a bit, I think that generally means that your food is on point and your fasting is going well. It's just something is happening with the healing that's causing this flare up. So the final, the sixth and final key to healing on these 48s is plan the week in advance. So I would sometimes make mistakes and just chat to a friend and be like, hey, yeah, let's have dinner whatever night of the week, and just without thinking about it. But then I'd make the plan and it ends up being on a day that's fasting. So it's important to have a look at the day ahead and then plan everything. Only eat out with people on the days that you're eating. And another thing is one of the problems with these is that every week, because there's 7 days in a week, it's odd numbers, so every week the days change that you're fasting. So something I have experimented with is just doing OMADs for Saturday and Sunday, and then fasting Monday, eating Tuesday, fasting Wednesday, eating Thursday, fasting Friday. You could do it that way if you wanted, or just keep altering the days, eating on a different day every week until you sort of figure out what works for you. But either one, it's essential to plan in advance, because it's so important to not break a fast once you've begun a fast, just for disciplinary reasons, and obviously for health reasons, because we need to sort out our health. So thanks for listening, guys. I hope you got something out of it. Leave me a comment or a question if you'd like to chat. Cheers.